Hello children, welcome to JMC We Learning program. Today we are meeting you with grade 10 lessons, grade 10 English lessons. I am going to start from the first lesson of second term. So what is the first lesson of second term? That is called best practices, that is unit 5. We have a role play here and the topic was given as a day out. A day out is you are just going as a picnic or you are going on a trip, something like that, you are going day out. So this conversation is about a day out of few people. There are some names here, Mrs. Fernando, Menuka, Nimali and Mr. Fernando. So it feels like this is a family. So this family is going to have a day out. So we are going through this and we are going to learn the conversation and we are going to understand what has happened in this day out. Here Mrs. Fernando, come on children, hurry up. We will be late if we don't leave now. Then Menuka is saying, I am almost ready, need to get my hat. Nimali, I am ready. Mr. Fernando, let's go, the bus is here. So they are going the day out on a bus. Mrs. Fernando, children, it's time to go. So Mr. Fernando, Mrs. Fernando is there. Hopefully these are the parents and Menuka and Nimali are the children of these two people. So mother is calling them, children, it's time to go. Then the bus conductor is calling them, hurry up, get on, we are already late. So they are late, they want to go to the picnic very quickly. So a few hours later at the railway station, so first they are going on the bus to the railway station and they are planning to go using a train. Menuka, look at those trains, I want to have a closer look. Mr. Fernando, Menuka, don't walk on the other platforms. Menuka, why not? I want to. Mrs. Fernando, because it's dangerous. It's not allowed to walk here and there in platform. So Mr. Fernando is telling, sit down and wait for the train. Announcement. There is an announcement when you are going to a station. You also have heard many announcements. So here also an announcement. We'll see what is that announcement is. Attention please, this announcement is for all passengers waiting for Podimanike express train to Kandy. Please go to platform number 1. So there are 2-3 platforms, you have to go to the correct platform and get into your train. So the announcement was given to tell what is the correct platform. Mr. Fernando, let's go, the train is there. Nimali, I want a seat by the window. You know many children likes to sit by a window. So Nimali also the same. Menuka, the train is going. Hooray. Many of the children, they like to go on a train because rarely they have got a chance to go on a train. So Mrs. Fernando or the mother is telling finally, don't put your head out and watch your hand. Menuka. While the children are going on train, they like to see outside, so they may put their head, their hand, but it's not good, it will be dangerous, so you have to be careful. So always the parents will give you the guides how to go on a train. So here that's the role play of our first lesson. Then you can see I have highlighted some words here. Phrases are there, words and phrases are there. I have highlighted them already. Shall we go through them? The first one is hurry up. Then let's go. Look at. Don't walk. Here, sit down. Wait for. Please go. Let's go. Don't put. Watch your hands. When we go through these words, what did you get about these words? They have always given a idea or a command or some order. When we go through this, the mother is telling hurry up And here, let's go, look at, don't walk. So always in this highlighted part, there is a command or order. So these kind of orders or commands we are called as imperatives, right? So all these highlighted parts we are calling them imperatives. Here in the activity 2, what you have to do is, you have to find all these imperatives. It's very easy because I have already highlighted these imperatives. So you can just write all the imperatives, highlighted imperatives here. Then what you have to do? You have to write who uttered these things, who told these things, who said these things. So when we are going to the first one, hurry up, who said that? It was said by Mrs. Fernando, that's mean the mother. You have to write Mrs. Fernando. Uttered to whom she said that? We'll see. She said that to Menuka. So you can write uttered to Menuka. Let's go to the second one. Let's go. That is the command or the imperative. Who said that? Uttered by Mr. Fernando. And uttered to whom? To Mrs. Fernando, Menuka and Nimali. So you can mention it here. It is uttered to Mrs. Fernando, Menuka and Nimali. Then the third one, look at. That is the imperative. Look at. Who's telling that? Menuka. Menuka is that was uttered by Menuka, and it is uttered to whom? It is uttered to his father, mother and his sister. That's mean to Mr. Fernando, Mrs. Fernando and Nimali. Then last one of the first page, don't walk. Who's telling that? Mr. Fernando. So uttered by Mr. Fernando, and uttered to whom? To Menuka. He is telling Menuka don't walk. So it was uttered to Menuka. Then let's move to the next one. Sit down, wait for. These two are there in one sentence. So who's telling this? This was uttered by Mr. Fernando. And uttered to whom? This was uttered to Nimali and Menuka. Then next one. Please go. Please go. It is actually not like an order, it was like kindly requesting. So that also an imperative that was uttered by the announcer. The announcer is uttered to whom? The people who have come to travel to the station. Right. Then the next one, let's go. That is the next imperative. So it was uttered by Mr. Fernando and it was uttered to his wife, Mrs. Fernando, Menuka and Nimali. So you can mention all those three names here. Then last one, don't put and wash your hands. That was said by Mrs. Fernando. So you can write those two here, and it was uttered by Mrs. Fernando and uttered to the two children. You can mention the names like Menuka and Nimali. So that's what we have to learn in the first part of this lesson, that is the role play. We went through the role play and we got the idea, as well as we highlighted some words here, phrases here, and we learned them as imperatives and we learned who uttered them to whom. So you can just quickly understand these kind of parts when you go through paragraphs or a conversation. You can find these things, you can read papers and stories and you can find more utters, more imperatives, and you can learn them. So we have come to the end of this part. Let's move to the next part of this lesson. Now we are going to learn a very important part. This is a must because this will come to your papers when you are facing O-levels. This kind of question, that means under this topic a question will be coming. So it's very important to learn this. So we are moving to the lesson. I am going to talk about letters. Letters. What are the letters we can write? the letters in your syllabus, we can see two kind of letters mainly. You have to learn two kinds of letter under your syllabus. So the first one is formal letters, the other one is informal letters. What is the meaning of formal and what is the meaning of informal? Formal is official letters. When you are writing something to an office, you have to write in a proper way. So we call those letters formal letters. And informal is something that you are writing to your friend, your relation, your neighbors. So that is differ from formal letters. All these two letters, they have structures. You have to follow those structures. But formal letter is something different than informal letters. When you are writing a formal letter, you have to think more things than when you are writing an informal letter. So we are learning under this lesson how to write formal letters and informal letters, and first we are talking about formal letters. That means we are talking about the letters what we can write to an office. So there is a structure, there are some ways of writing formal letters. So under this lesson I am going to explain you how to write a formal letters and the structure of a formal letter. I said to you, a formal letter is an official letter. When we are writing a letter as in an official way, we have to use this official letters, or we have to use this formal letter. So when we are writing a formal letter, there is a way of writing that. So there is a format of writing a formal letter. Always you have to follow this format. So we'll go through the main topics which comes under formal letters. The first point what we have to go through is sender's address. When we are writing a letter, we have to first mention who is sending this letter. So first you have to write sender's address. So first point when we are writing, when we are going through a formal letter is sender's address. After the sender's address, the second point is the date when you are writing this letter. So under the sender's address, you have to write the date, then the month, then the year. Then after that, you have to write receiver's designation and address. I said to you earlier, we are telling formal letters as well as official letters which we are writing to a formal way, or for the office, or someone who is working there. So he has a designation. So after writing the sender's address, date, you have to mention the designation of the person who is receiving this. So we are calling that receiver's designation. After that, you can write the address. Not the personal address of the person who is receiving this, the official letter of the receivers. You can mention that after writing receiver's designation. Then you can write the salutation. That means to whom you are writing this, Mr. or Mrs. or to whom you are writing this, you can mention that after receiver's designation and the address. That is the fourth one. Then the fifth one is the topic. You can't just write the topic. You have to underline the topic after writing that, because from the topic they are getting the idea regarding what you are writing the letter. You have written the letter. So after you write the topic, it's a must to underline that, then it will be very clear them to get the idea. Then the sixth part is body of the letter. Normally, the body of the letter consists of 3 paragraphs. The first paragraph, you can give the introduction about what you are going to talk about. Then the body, that means what are included, what you want to explain. Then the third part is conclusion, how you are going to end what you want to say for that person. Then after that is the sixth one. Then after that, finally, you can end the letter, writing your name or your signature. Like that you can finish the letter. So this is the format of writing a formal letter. Let's go through the main topics again. First one, sender's address, the person who are sending the letter. Then date, when you are writing the letter, then receiver's designation to whom you are writing this letter, and the address, the official address, then the salutation to whom you are writing this letter, then underlined topic, the topic should be underlined there, then body of the letter. I said the body of the letter is consistent of 3 parts, that is introduction, then the body and the conclusion. So, all these 3 you can write using 3 paragraphs, then finally the ending of the letter. Okay, I hope that you have a clear idea about the format of a formal letter. So, let us see an example for a formal letter, and let us discuss what are the points we have already discussed, and here we are going to mention those points. Let us read this formal letter written by the Secretary of the Environment Society of Gurulugama Vidyalaya. So, who is writing this letter? This letter was written by the Secretary of the Environment Society of Gurulugama Vidyalaya. So, earlier I said you, first we have to write the address of the sender. So, we are writing the address as Gurulugama Vidyalaya, Kelaniya. We are writing when we are writing the formal letter, normally we used to write it in the left side. We are not just changing something into right and something into left, like earlier we used to write some letters address in right side and the other part in left side, but in formal letters we are not going to write it like that. Normally all the points which I was mentioned earlier, we are writing in the left side of the formal letter. So, I said first we have to write the sender's address. So, here who is the sender? Gurulugama Vidyalaya. So, they are the person who are sending it. So, Gurulugama Vidyalaya, Kelaniya. So, that is the first point. Then I said after sender's address we had to write the date. So, here you can see 20th January 2018. After the sender's address you can mention the date when you are writing the letter. Then I said to whom we are writing this, the designation of the person. The third part is designation of the person to whom we are writing. So, we are writing this letter to the Director General. We are writing this letter to the Director General. So, we have to write the designation. After that, the address. Ports Authority goal. I said we are not sending these official letters, these formal letters to personal addresses. We are writing official letters. So, we have to use the name of the office. So, after the designation of the person, we have to write the address and you can use the official address. Then we have already discussed the sender's address, then the date, then the receiver's designation. After that, the receiver's address. Then the fifth one is salutation. You can call dear sir, dear madam, like that you can use the salutation. Then after that you can use the topic. I have already said to you, when you are writing the topic you have to underline that. So, you can write as the 6th point of this an underlined topic. Request for permission to visit the goal fort. So, you have to write the topic, what is the purpose, what you want to do, what is your idea to get done. So, the person, the secretary, he or she wants to request for permission to visit the goal fort. So, you can write it as a topic and it is very important if you can underline that. Then I said you the body of the letter is divided into 3. Here you can see one paragraph, the second paragraph and the third paragraph, first, second and third. I have divided that into 3 paragraphs. I said the body of the letter consists of 3 parts, introduction, then the body, then after that conclusion. So, first you have to introduce for what you are writing this letter. I am the Secretary of the Environment Society. You can introduce yourself. So, that is what we call that introduction. You can introduce yourself. Who is writing this letter? I am the Secretary of the Environment Society of Gurulugama Vidyalaya. I am writing this letter to request for permission to visit the goal fort. So, that is the introduction of the letter. why are you writing this letter and who are you? So, you can give the introduction using those points. So, I have given a separate paragraph for that. Then the second paragraph, the details, you can add more details regarding your letter. So, what he has added, we will see. The grade 9 student of my school who are going on this trip, who are going to visit Galle Fort, grade 9 student of Gurulugama Vidyalaya. So, he has included that. Then, wish to visit the Galle Fort. They hope to visit Galle Fort. That is what we have already mentioned in the topic. Then, on 2nd February, it is very important, if you have planned something, it is a must to mention the date. So, third, he has mentioned the date. They hope to visit on 2nd February. We have a team of 350 students. You know, when we are visiting some place, a museum or planetarium or whatever, normally we are giving the details, how many students are coming, from which grades are they coming, like that. So, here he has mentioned 350 students are participating of this, and 10 teachers, not only students. With 350 students, 10 teachers also 10 teachers are also participating in this event. We hope to reach the port around 9 o'clock. You have to mention at what time you are going to visit that place. So, all the main ideas, all the main details should be included in the body of the letter. Then, the morning, and hope to stay there for about 3 hours. You are going to stay there for 3 hours. We hope that you will be able to provide the services of a guide to help our students. So, you can request whatever you want. So, this is the introduction, then the body of with the main ideas what you want to express. Then finally, we can make the conclusion. I would be glad if you could consider this request. I am looking forward to hearing from you, because you need an answer from him, from the person to whom you are writing the letter. So, you can mention that these are the points, these are the things what we want. Then I am looking forward to hearing from you. I want an answer from you, like that. Then finally, this is the end of the lesson. You can finish the letter using these parts, and this is the end of the letter. So, when you are finishing the letter, or when you are making the end of the letter, you can write thank you, your faithfully, like that. You can give the greetings. Then you can write your name, who you are and what is your position, and from where are you. So, the letter was written by the Secretary of Environment Society. So, you can mention that and your name, then you can give your signature, you can keep your signature. So, this is the normal structure of a formal letter. We have already learned the points, and you went through this example, and I hope you got an idea about writing formal letter. Right. Now, we are moving to the textbook again. There is an activity, activity 4. What you have to do in this activity? We will see. Read the following instructions on how to write a formal letter. We have already learned how to write a formal letter. Write them in your book in the proper order. Now, in the first part of this lesson, I have mentioned all those things. Here now what they have done is they have jumbled it. There are 7 main topics and they have jumbled it. What we have to do is we have to number them according to the proper way. So, first let us read what they have given, then we will arrange according to the structure of a formal letter. Use an appropriate salutation to the person you are writing to. Write the sender's address on the top left hand side of the page. Sign off your letter with an appropriate closing. Place the recipient's designation and address one line beneath the date. Write the body of the letter. Write the subject of the letter and underline it. Place the date directly below the sender's address. Now these are the points. Now we have already learned it under this topic. Now we are going to, now this was given as jumble. Now we are going to number them. I will put the numbers according to the correct way. Then we can read them. Okay, here I have numbered all the given topics according to the format of a formal letter. Let's go through that. We have already read all these points when it was jumbled. Now I have numbered them. Okay, what we have to write first? Write the sender's address on the top left hand side of the page. I said we have to write the sender's address first. After that, place the date directly below the sender's address. After the sender's address, we have to write the date. Then the third one, place the recipient designation and address on line beneath the date. After the date, you can just keep a line. Then you can write the designation and the address of the receiver. Then the fourth one is use an appropriate salutation to the person you are writing to. You can use dear sir, dear madam, those kind of salutation, and that is the fourth part of this. The fifth one is write the subject of the letter and underline it. Then after that you can write the letter, the body of the letter. That is the sixth one. Then the final part of a formal letter, that is sign off your letter with an appropriate closing. You can write your faithfully like that. You can end the letter and you can just sign off the letter. So we have just ordered the correct format of a formal letter as we studied earlier. Okay, now you know how to write a formal letter, how to format that, what is the structure of a formal letter, and if the topics are jumbled, you know how to order that, how to write into the correct order. So this is the way of writing a formal letter. Let's move to another example. Here also a formal letter. So we'll go through the formal letter and try to find or try to understand what are the topics what we have already learned in the first part of the lesson. F.G. Piris, Pubudupura, Danipitiya. So here you can see the name also was written. The sender's name also there. So that's not a harm. You can write your name as well. So here in this part we can see the sender's address as we learned earlier. First, here also mention the sender's address. After the sender's address, here we can see the date. Again the same format of a formal letter. So this is the first one. This is the second one, what we have learned earlier. Then the third one, the designation of the person to whom we are writing. We are just not writing his or her normal name, personal name. We are writing the designation. Then after that you have to write the address, the receiver's address. That is the fourth part. Then the fifth one is the salutation. Again we are going through the same format. Then you can see here the underlined topic. Complain against dumping garbage in public places. So the earlier letter, that is different from this. Earlier one, it was written by students, and the way what it was written is like requesting something. But here it's just like a complaint. So these two both are formal letters. Here the earlier letter it was a request, but this letter it's a complaint. The complaint was done by F.J. Piris, and this is his address and this is the date when he was writing this. Then to whom he is complaining this? The mayor, municipal council, Danipitiya. So this is the person to whom he is writing the letter or complaining about something. Then the salutation is dear sir. After that, regarding what he is writing this letter, this is a complaint. So he has written that like complaint against dumping garbage in public places, and the topic was underlined here. Then we are moving to the body of the letter. First he has given the introduction regarding what he is writing this letter. I would like to bring to your attention a problem that is faced by the residents of this area. So, he is giving the introduction regarding what he is writing this letter. The complaint is regarding this topic, and the introduction is who is facing this problem. The people, the residents who is living in that area facing this problem, because some people are throwing garbages to their place. Then the body, the second paragraph of the letter. We have noticed that there is a lot of garbage that has been disposed around the tank bund for the past few months. The tank bund has been a place where many children gather in the evening to play, and we have worked very hard to keep that area clean. So, the children are playing in that area, so they want to keep that area clean, but some people who are just not living that area, they are just throwing garbage to the tank bund. So, that is his problem. So, he is explaining using the ideas what he has to explain. So, he is writing that in the body of the letter. But today we see that many ice cream cups, food wrappers and polythene bags have been carelessly thrown away all over the area. So, that is what his problem. So, he is explaining what is his problem is. On rainy days, there is a bad odor in and around the area, and there is a risk of spread of disease. So, this is the situation, this is the problem they have faced, and finally he is giving, he is expressing the risk that which can be faced. So, he is telling on rainy days, bad odor, that means the smell around that area is not good, so they can't live that area. Not only that, because of the rain, inside the ice cream cups and wrappers and polythene, water can be collected, so it can be caused to another problem, that is spreading diseases like dengue or whatever. They can face that kind of problem. So, he has pointed out all those things in the body of the letter. Then finally, he has given the conclusion. Please be kind enough to look into this matter as soon as possible. Thank you. In that earlier request, finally we are mentioning that we need an answer from you, because we are requesting something. But here he has written something else, that we need you to look into this problem. So, just go through the problem and give some solution. So, that is his conclusion. So, this is the body of the letter. Then you can come to the end of the letter. You can give a good ending like your faithfully, and you can write your name and your signature. And not only for this person, not only to the mayor, he has given another copy to the medical health officer. Why? This problem about these diseases and all, the area is not clean and all, this can refer to this person as well, the medical health officer. So, he has sent another copy to this person. When you are writing a formal letter, you can copy the same letter to few officials, because if you want to give same message to few people, no need to mention their names in few letters. You can mention the main person, and you can send some copies to other person as well. So, this is another thing what we have added to this formal letter, and you can, I hope you can get the idea about a formal letter. This is also the same structure, but you can change writing the way of this formal letter regarding to your problem or regarding to your situation. So, this is the second one what we have to learn, the second lesson, second letter what we wanted to discuss. So, I hope that you have a proper idea about writing formal letters. So, you can try to write formal letters regarding many topics. You can just think about those kinds of different topics, and you can try to write formal letters, and always keep in your mind to write under this format. always you have to follow this format when you are writing a formal letter. Okay, we are moving to the next part of the lesson. Activity 6. Read the following notice, construct meaningful questions to which the underlined phrases will be the answers. Here we are going to learn about a notice. What do you mean by a notice? Here you can see an example of a notice. Notice is something that we can show to others to get an idea. That means if we want to convey a message, you can use notice to give that message. What else? What are the other ways that you can give messages to the other people? You can use television, you can use radios, and you can give some advertisements. Not only that, you can use papers, magazines, those kinds of things to convey a message. Those things are also there if you want to give a message to others, and this is something different from those things. We are calling this a notice. You can put this notice into a notice board, or just you can show keep it a place where the other people can see it. So notice is something that we use to give a message to other people. So here you can see this. When we are writing a notice, first we have to mention that this is a notice. We are going to give a message to other people. Then they will see this and they will wait near the notice and they are going to read it. So that's what the idea of a notice. If we show in a notice board and if we have mentioned it as a notice, then the other people can get an idea there is a message that we have to read it. So first we have to mention that it is a notice. So we are just highlighting that and give the message to others that there is a notice. Then let's go through this notice and try to understand the main things and what this notice is about. A Shramadana campaign will be held on 30th May 2015 from 7:30 am to 1:30 pm to clean Danipitiya Tank Bund and the Children's Park. Refreshments and a complimentary cap will be provided. All are invited. And the date was given like 18th of May 2015. And finally, who has given this notice? It was mentioned down here, Municipal Council, Danipitiya. So here, when we go through this notice, you can understand that this notice is about a Shramadana campaign. So when we are doing a Shramadana campaign, we need more people to help. So you can put a notice like that if you are a person who are just working in your area, your village or your city, and you just want to gather people to do something like this, the Shramadana campaign, you can put a notice and you can include all the important points there. Then the person who is reading the notice, they can get an idea. If they like to join with you, then with all these ideas, they can get the idea whether they want to join with you. So when we are writing a notice, all the important points should be there. So when we go through this notice, you can also see all the details that when we are reading this notice, you can get the proper idea about this notice. So I have underlined some points here. What are the points I have underlined? A Shramadana campaign, I have underlined that part. Then 30th May 2015. This is regarding what we are mentioned the notice, what we have put the notice, a Shramadana campaign. Then 30th May 2015, that is when we are going to do this event. Then 7:30 am to 1:30 pm, that means the time when we are going to do this event or the Shramadana campaign. Then clean Danipitiya Tank Bund and the Children's Park. What we are going to do? Why we are doing this Shramadana campaign? So the idea is here, clean Danipitiya Tank Bund and the Children's Park. Then finally, here I have highlighted all. That means all are invited. To whom I am inviting, to whom I am putting this in notice. So it is there. Then finally the date when I am going to notice this. Then after that who has mentioned that. So I have underlined all these main points here. Right. Now what we have to do in this activity? Construct meaningful questions. That is what we have to do in this activity 6. That means the underlined parts are here the answers. The note is here and I have underlined some points and the underlined points are the answers. What you have to do is you have to make meaningful questions to get these underlined answers. So, first one is a Shramadana campaign. So, what is the question that you can make to get this answer? You can write the question like this. What is this notice about? Then if you ask this question, now you just imagine someone is looking at a notice. Then you are just waiting there and you can ask, what is this notice about? Then that person can give the answer like, this notice is about a Shramadana campaign. Can you understand how to get the answer? So the first answer is a Shramadana campaign. To get this answer, the question is this, what you can ask. What is this notice about? What is this notice about? Then the person can say, the notice is about a Shramadana campaign. So the underlined answer is there when you ask such a question. Then next one is 30th May 2015, when we are going to do this Shramadana campaign. So you can ask a simple question, when will this event be held? When will this event be held? Then the person can give a simple answer like 30th May 2015. The Shramadana campaign will be held. Will be held. That means we are planning to do this in future. So we are using will to express that idea. Will be held when it is going to be held on 30th May 2015. So when you are asking the question, you can ask, when will this event be held? When? What is the meaning of when? Why we use when we are asking a question? From the word when, we are asking the time or a date when we are going to do this. So the date, if you want to know the date, you can start the question asking when. When will this event be held means we are simply ask the date when the Shramadana is going to be held. Then the third answer is 7:30 am to 1:30 pm. That means the time. So how can you ask the time? You can use this question. What is the time duration of the event? What is the time duration of the event? Why? Because they have given a time when they are going to start it, as well as there is a time mentioned when they are going to finish it. So there is a duration in between that. So when you are asking the question, you can ask it like this. What is the time duration? Because there is a time period. What is the time duration of the event? So a person, when answering the question, he can just simply say from 7:30 am to 1:30 pm. Right. Next question, next answer. Clean Danipitiya tank bund and the children's park. Why we are doing this Shramadana campaign? To clean Danipitiya tank bund and the children's park. So we have to write the question in a proper way using proper grammar. So you can use, what is the purpose of the event? What is the purpose of the event? Why are we doing such a Shramadana campaign? What is the purpose? What is the idea? So the purpose is what? The purpose is to clean Danipitiya tank bund and the children's park. To get this answer, you can ask the question like this. What is the purpose of the event? Next answer. All. The word all is underlined here. All are invited. That means to whom we are inviting to come to the Shramadana campaign. So, who are invited? You can ask a simple question like, who are invited? Then the answer is all are invited. The people who live in this area, all the people are invited to this Shramadana campaign. then the date was underlined. Then you can ask when the notice was published, because normally we publish the notice to see others. Then you can write the question when the notice was published. Again, when I said you, when we need to know about a date of something, we can use this word when. So you can write simply that when the notice was published, then the person can say it was published on 18th of May 2015. So the answer can be given like that. The last question, the answer is Municipal Council Danipitias. To get this, we can ask a question like this: who is organizing the event? Because end of a notice, if we have mentioned a person, that means that who is the person who is going to conduct this, who is going to organize this. So we can write the question, we can ask the question like this: who is organizing the event, or who is organizing this Shramadana campaign? Then we can give the answer like Municipal Council Danipitiya. So if some answers are underlined in a paragraph or a notice or in a essay or something, to get the answer, the underlined answer, you can make these kinds of questions. And when we go through these words, what, when, who, those kinds of words, we call these question words. When we are asking questions, you can start the questions using these kinds of question words. Not only this, you can use who, why, where, whom, those kinds of words as well. According to the question, you can use different question words and you can ask questions. Then the answers must be given according to the question. Now, I hope you got the idea about a notice, how to write a notice. When we are writing a notice, we must mention that this is about a notice. Then after that, we have to point out, we have to write the notice using all the important ideas, all the important details. Then we have to mention when we are writing this note, after that who's writing this notice. Then this is the simple structure of writing a notice. I hope that you can, hereafter you can read a notice and you can highlight all the important part of that, and if some questions are asked like that, you can just go through the notice and find out the answers. If the answers are mentioned and if they are asking you to make questions, it's very easy. You can use different question words like this and make questions. Hope to see you in next lesson.